G'day YouTube, welcome to another episode of the Friday Vape Club. As always, your host Squidly Tris, back for another hardware review for you. Today we are looking at a little pod system. This is the Stars Bravo pod. So, little fucking pod system, there you go, clips in, fucking, and away you go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive down, we'll take a quick look around this thing, I'll give you some specifications on it. Then we will look at the packaging and everything that it comes with. Then we'll jump back up top, we'll do the pros, we will do the cons and the price. And I will tell you if I recommend this or not. So stick around, watch the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to smash the like button. And let's roll that intro. Alright, so here we are looking at the Stars Bravo pod kit. So this thing is a 1000 milliamp hour battery. You do have a 2mm pod up the top, which is a 1.4 ohm ceramic coil. You do have this rainbow finish. I'm sure it does come in other finishes, but this is the one that I got with this sort of carbon fiber look. I don't think it's real carbon fiber because for the price, they certainly wouldn't be selling real carbon fiber. But I don't think it's a sticker as such. It's just some sort of carbon fiber looking plastic. So that's a look around it. Not really much to tell you. Do have Bravo down here. You do have your fire button. There you go. Turn it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it on. So this thing does have 3 power settings as well. So if you push the fire button 3 times, you can see how it goes blue. So that means that it's the medium setting, 8 watts around 3.3 volts. 1, 2, 3, it turns red, which is the highest setting at 10 watts and a whopping 3.5 volts. And 1, 2, 3, it is in the green setting, which is the lowest output setting, and that is at 7 watts at 3 volts. So you can change the output to your desired vape, I guess is the best way to describe that. I don't know why you would and not just leave it on one setting, but hey, up to you. Down the bottom here, you do have your USB port for charging, and that's it. The pod itself, it's got this nice sort of ergonomic feel to it. That's the opening there. And then down the side here, if you can see right there is your little airflow. This is an air activated pod system, meaning as you draw in, it will fire the pod, and that's how the vapor is produced. You don't have to push any buttons, just make sure it's on. So that's the pod there. Let's get this out. The pod is a little bit tight in the battery, and with this shape, it does make it very hard to kind of grip and pull out. But once it's out, that's what it looks like on the inside. So you do have your little connections there. And then underneath, you've got your connections here. So the pod, if I didn't mention already, will take 2 mils of eliquid, and it does have a 1.4 ohm ceramic coil head. This little grommet is where you fill up the pod. Simply pull this up and off, and then you've got massive amount of space to fill up your pod with anything really. It'll take glass dripper bottles, it'll take your chubby Gorilla unicorn tips. And once it's complete, you pop that back down like so. Make sure it is sealed correctly and it's seated in there nicely. And then pop it back into the stars. So there you go. That is a look at the Stars Bravo. Let's take a look at the packaging. And here we have the packaging for the Stars Bravo. You've got a photo on the front here depicting the Stars Bravo that you have got. Some warnings on the side there. On the back here, you do have your kit contents, you do have some warnings, and you do have another warning down here saying it contains nicotine. Inside the packaging, this is where your Bravo will be sitting. You do receive a USB charging cable, and you do get a user manual. That is it. There's nothing else with this. They don't give you an extra pod, they just give you a user manual and a charging cable. That's it. All right, the Stars Bravo. Let's jump back up top. Let me do the pros, the cons, the price, and if I would recommend this or not. All right, so there we had a quick look around the Stars Bravo pod. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna take it for a toot. Got some 50-50 high nick juice in here. Let's go. All right, so there we go. Let's talk about the airflow. It's kind of like a more open mouth to lung, if you like. Not so restricted like I would hope, but it's a very nice mouth to lung device. And the flavor of this thing is pretty good. For a pod system, I was quite surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be as flavorful as it is, and I would probably give it maybe, you know, a solid 7.5 out of 10 for flavor. Let's get into some pros and cons, shall we? So the first pro for me is it is quite hefty. It's got a good milliamp hour battery. It's got a 1000 milliamp hour battery, so it gives you battery life for days. The pod's pretty cool. The pod is 2 mils capacity. So the 2 mils capacity is pretty cool. I like to see that it's got, you know, extra capacity, that 2 mils, that's fantastic. I like to see these bigger pod capacities rather than having, you know, 1 mil, having like a 1.4, even a 2 mil pod capacity. It's pretty cool. Means I can take it all day. I don't have to worry about bringing the juice with me. I can just kind of leave it in my pocket and this becomes my secondary vape. So that's awesome. Air activated, it sort of hits when you draw in. You don't get any of those misfires like some other air activated pod systems kind of get. You know, you start to breathe in and nothing happens and all of a sudden it starts to fire and you get about half a lung full of vape before you have to go again. So that's kind of cool. Seems to be working pretty well. What else is there pro-wise? That's pretty much it. Let's talk about the cons, shall we? So the first con for me is the pod is very hard to get in and out. Because it's shaped and sloped and it's slippery and there's nothing to grab hold of, to get that pod out can be a bit of a pain in the ass, especially if you've got sweaty or sort of wet hands or oily hands. It can be a bit of a pain in the ass. And another con for me is that they only give you 1 pod. Why are these companies only giving us 1 pod? We're already paying for it. The pods are going to cost you fuck all to make. Just help out the consumer and chuck us another pod. You know, giving us a spare would be fantastic. That's what I want to see. So that's pretty disappointing from Stars. It's another con in my opinion. Price, what's it going to set you back? Doing a little bit of Google foo on the internet, I found this online for $40 in the United States. So that's 40 bucks. And in Australia, it's around about the, what, 50, 55 buck mark. I probably wouldn't recommend it for that price. Realistically, it's kind of like every other pod system out there. There's not much in a pod system these days, which kind of makes me stand up and take notice. We are just oversaturated with pods. It is a very saturated pod system market. And this kind of doesn't really stand out or shine or excel or have any new innovation for me. The only appeal that it has is a 2 mil pod and a 1000 milliamp hour battery. That's about it. If you can find that in another pod system that's cheaper, then I would say go and get that pod system. Like I said, the Stars Bravo, nothing spectacular about it. If you want a pod system that is going to last you for a while, it's got good juice capacity, then yeah, go and get it. But if you're after a really good mouth-to-lung device and you don't care about the milliamp hours or the juice capacity, go and check out the Well On Stand. Absolutely fantastic pod system. That's all I've got time for you guys today. I really hope you enjoy it. Like always, please like, please share, please subscribe, and remember YouTube, keep it cloudy.